Hello everybody and welcome to the 5th round of the Jockey Racing League. I am so excited to present this to you from post-race commentary. It's certainly a little bit different than it has been in the past. I'm recording my own audio over the race audio after the fact because due to circumstances that we will try to prevent for the rest of the season, we only have Milk's POV, so it'll be the Milk radioactive stream with a voiceover from NLS. This will be an uncut voiceover. I have a small cold right now, or allergies or something like that, so it certainly won't be perfect, but it will be better than just mostly silence with occasionally Milk talking to people that you cannot hear. So we will salvage what we can out of this. I hope you all enjoy. Right now we are waiting for qualifying to get underway. If you all remember from past races, if you haven't seen past races, I highly recommend going and watching them. The series is always a blast. It is a no draft 4% race where the ending positions do not matter. It only matters what your fastest lap is.
No, NLS, I actually feel like I'm going to be in last today on pace.
You hear Milk's vote of self-unconfidence there as we start the qualifying race, and the field tries to gather space in order to set their fastest laps. Tires wear quick, so it's good to give yourself a lot of room to take advantage of your first 3 laps or so. Otherwise, you're just asking to start near the back. And at a track like New Hampshire, that might not be the worst thing in the world. But qualifying is important, and you do get a point for winning the pole position, as we are on board with Milk for his first qualifying lap. Diving it down into turn number 1, he's going to use the second lane, wash up to the third, come back down all the way to lane number 1 before exiting the corner strong. And that is a line you will see Milk run quite a bit today. For future reference, I will be referencing myself in the third person because it makes it easier as a commentator. This is what happens when we record the way we do. Unfortunately, Milk hits the wall off the end of 4, a 29.69, not a bad lap, but certainly not what it could have been if he kept that one clean. Of course, he also hurts the beginning of this lap. No shifting into turn 1 and 2. He knows this. He's trying to set it up for 3 and 4 to get a good run onto the start of his lap number 3. We have a couple of different driving styles coming out here today. You see Milk shifting down into 4th gear in the corners. Because of how long ago this race was, I cannot remember if I shifted down to 3rd or 4th when I ran this. I honestly can't remember, but Milk choosing not to shift in 1 and 2 there. Going down to 3 and 4, he's actually catching the pack who are also all trying to set their fast laps. He's going to have a good exit on 3 and 4, and it seems like this might be his pole lap, 29.4. We'll have to see if that is the fastest lap anyone turns, or if somebody else in the field is able to turn a faster lap before the end of qualifying.
My fastest ever is a 29.0 today that I ran, but like I'm stuck behind these bozos, and I can't get. I tried giving myself. Yes, I did.
Milk for sure frustrated with lap traffic on this qualifying race. Just set a 29.162. He was saying a second ago his fastest lap was a 29 flat, which is certainly one of the better times in the field getting into this race. You have Sean and Twitch both rolling in. This will be Sean's last official points-paying race. I'll go ahead and say this now, there will be no footage from the Roval. That race was a disaster, and we decided to not score for points.
Which is wall riding.
We decided not to score the Roval for points for reasons that you are fortunate that you will not see. That race was bad. Lap 7 of 12 in this qualifying race. At this point, tires are wearing harder and harder to get the low 29s that would be setting for pole. So at this point, it's all about waiting it out, getting to the end, and seeing what you set. Actually, a 29.288 from Milk. He has some pretty good tire conservation skills for sure. Very good Valvoline racer. Moving over to Jockey to participate in both seasons, which is actually something I'm doing as well. If you want to see me go full-time in Jockey and potentially make a run for the Truck Series Championship, go check out the Valvoline Cup Series. If I can't make a run at the Truck Series Championship because I joined the league late in the season, then you can see me hopefully win a cup race at Bristol coming up in a few weeks if I get permission to run that, which I think I have. While we're winding down in this qualifying race, let's give a shout out to our sponsor season long, Rodco Customs. Rodco Customs is awarding the champion of this league with a discounted and or free custom diecast of their choice. I can't remember exactly which. But either way, Rodco Customs, thank you for being a loyal sponsor to the Jockey Racing League. We love having the logo up on screen every single race. And you do make some pretty good custom diecast cars. I personally recommend it. 2 laps to go in this qualifying race, and then we will be set up for the main event at New Hampshire. A 100-lap slugfest with a halfway caution at lap 50. Of course, because we do the manual pace lap, we actually start on lap 2, meaning the stage ends at the end of 51, and the race ends at the end of 101, barring any overtimes. Milk, of course, runs from the third-person rear camera, different than the NLS cam, which is roof camera. It'll be interesting to see a new point of view from the field as well. And as Milk comes to finish the qualifying race, finish out all of his laps, NLS also crosses the line to technically finish the race, but at this point, everyone's fastest laps have been set. The race winner does not matter. As Milk crosses the line, we thank you for tuning in to the Milk stream. The Milk camera is brought to you by Milk and the Valvoline Cup Series. Go check Milk out on YouTube. Go check the Valvoline Cup Series out on YouTube. Both very entertaining indeed. In just a moment, we will cut back to the lobby. We will be able to see who set the fastest laps in the field. And then after that, we will make a cut to where the race starts. We had some random person keep trying to join our lobby, and I have such bad experiences setting up private lobbies with the lag that they cause that I have resorted to just resetting public lobbies until the random person goes away. So once we see the qualifying results, we'll make a small cut and get straight into the beginning of today's race. The game loading right now is an absolute banger plays in the background. We see the imaginary point total that pops up on the screen, and it is NLS with a 28.878, top of the board, beating out Milk, who starts on the outside. Number 3 is going to be Penske. 4th is Twitchnoob. 5th, Speed. 6th, Sean in the 47, and his last full points race. 7th is going to be GS, and then a DNQ for Valvac in the 78 car. We will be right back with the start of the race. We now welcome you back for the start of the Jockey Racing League race at Loudon for the NASCAR Heat 5 series. You see a whole bunch of chaos on the initial game start as we all set the field that you were just briefed on earlier. Up in the top left-hand corner, you will see 1 out of 150 laps. Remember, we run to 101 laps to complete 100 racing laps in total because we do not count this first pace lap. with the Milk cam, you will be able to see all of the laps today, as you typically can't on the ESMN cam.
Because it can only hear my voice in the stream.
And Milk is now clarifying why I am here, because we can only hear his voice in his stream, unfortunately. We expected ESMN to make this race. He could not due to other issues. That is alright. We have me, NLS, voicing as if I've never seen or raced in this race before. And the cars are now coming to the line. We go green at New Hampshire. Out of turn number 2 now, after a chaotic restart that resulted in Penske slamming into the back of the 12 car to send him forward. It's into turn number 3 now. Milk late on the brakes, way on the inside. Penske keeps it together up on that outside lane, but will not get a good runoff. It's going to be NLS number 1, Milk number 2, Penske number 3, position on the racetrack as we enter lap number 2. Milk sending it in very deep, but NLS has been noted for an incredibly fast short run car that can run in the 28-second range, which no one else has been able to do. However, he does have an intense tire fall off later into the runs. It'll be interesting to see if the short run or the long run prevails today. 29.36 for that lap from Milk. So we enter lap number 3 of the race. Penske into the back of Milk. Will not get any sort of... Oh, he does get a run out of the corner.
Oh my gosh, the
Milk has
smallest
to back off the throttle. Let's listen in. Milk very easy out of turn 3 and 4. As I decided to say let's listen in, the one moment he didn't say anything.
I'm just waiting on long run.
You heard here now, Milk waiting on the long run as expected. His times do not fall off very much over the course of the run. While NLS starts in the 28s, he falls down to 29.7s, 29.8s, while Milk stays pretty consistent at the bottom of, in middle of 29-second range. A long green flag run would absolutely help the 16 today as he tries to get to the back of Penske.
I mean, you're massive leading. Oh my gosh, I just slammed.
Big miss send from...
I made it. I don't know why that happened.
Big miss send from Milk there as he...
I don't think that's ever happened.
Clearly startled by his own move there. Must have followed Penske into the braking zone too deep. Or potentially had some sort of brake lightness. I believe that Milk plays on wheel and pedal, so my guess is he just hit the brakes too soft. But now he gets by Penske clean on the inside.
Is Dover on the schedule? Dang it, that's my best track.
Penske now hard into the back of the 16 car. It's a one heck of a battle for second, but the drive off from the 16 may put this one away. NLS has pulled out to a big lead. We are on lap number 7. Penske's still close on that outside, but it's going to be Milk with the much better run off of turn 2. Penske's going to have to brake deep here to keep this battle close.
Just wait till long run, GS. Just wait till long run.
He does just that, but once again, Milk's going to have a much better run off of exit, and at this point, the 16 is starting to pull away. That long run speed could be coming in soon.
Oh my gosh, he does.
29.2. Milk still setting fast laps.
Cade makes me mad. Cade is like my rival in Valvoline.
He's talking about someone in Valvoline, so I'm not going to listen in. I'm just going to talk over him. But it's NLS now still out of 4 at the moment where Milk is getting into
NLS,
the 3-4
I want to 1v1
gap.
you in a 410
It'll be interesting to see when Milk pulls up what the gap is.
I want to 1v1 you in a 410 sprint.
Look at that corner consistency from the 16 as the NLS has pulled out to a 2.5 second lead early.
Yes, I would whoop you in a 410, but we're pretty even on late models.
It's very clear that NLS's speed is not going to last as we hit the line to start lap number 10. Remember, we are one less lap than what the lap counter says. Milk not shifting through the corners, interestingly enough, as NLS is up to a 2.8 second lead. And Penske is also back in the fight with Milk, looking on the outside, has draft.
NLS, you shifting? You're shifting?
Got one inside.
That's good
And
to
Milk
know from
has
you.
confirmed that NLS is shifting through the corners, dropping it down into fourth gear as he gets on the brakes to help the car turn and fire off the corner better. However, it's absolutely abusing those rear tires, and later in the race it'll cause many issues with slipping and sliding. If we get a long run, expect Milk to make his way up to the front.
Inside.
If you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that we have had some isolated self-spin incidents on the track. However, since they were not caused by cars coming into contact with another, we stay green and do not count them as an incident. Self-spins are only counted for the podium position drivers. That is a rule both in Jockey's Open Wheel League and Jockey's NASCAR Heat League. Penske once again sending it to the inside, holds his line. Milk has to jump off the throttle. Who's going to get the run off? It's going to be Milk by just a little bit. But with high draft being run at all of our races up to this point, it's going to allow him to get very close to Milk into the corner. Can he get any sort of runoff? Penske does have great momentum out of the corner, gets into the wall slightly, and so does Milk, battling down the back straightaway.
Gosh dang it, Penske. I'm starting to catch him a little bit.
Milk very clearly frustrated as it looks like NLS's short run speed has run out. Milk starting to gain and wants the track all to himself to work his best possible line.
Penske, this is where we gain.
Milk now pleading with Penske to race him clean and stay behind him in order to catch the leader. Twitch, who's already fallen a lap down to NLS, is very likely to lay over and give this spot to the two racing behind, as Milk barely avoids going onto pit road by accident, which would have counted for an incident the same as a self-spin for a podium driver.
I'm thankful for that. I got loose.
Car on the outside now.
Twitch,
All right, you're clear.
okay, I'm not really sure what happened to Twitch there. That might just be a NASCAR Heat 5 lag thing. I don't know if he retired or what exactly happened. Maybe he just let the leaders pass on the outside of the corner. But either way,
Clear high.
Twitch vanishes into the shadow realm as Penske gets a great run off the corner, milks into the wall, and the 5 makes the pass for the second position.
No, you didn't touch me. I just got tight.
Penske in deep, so is Milk, but it's going to be Penske back to the gas first. Can he stay in and off the corner? No, he can't.
Still there. There's nobody.
What happened there, Penske?
Penske way out of the gas. He's going to lose all of that momentum he worked so hard to gather back up, and now it's a 2.5 second gap from Milk to the leader NLS. They will have to come pit at some point. We haven't seen Milk flip to his fuel window, and I can't remember how long the fuel run here was, but I believe it's one pit stop in each stage. We'll just have to wait and see if I'm correct on that. And there, I think it said 23 laps, I believe. But it was so quick that I honestly missed it, and I'm not retaking any of this audio to go back and look. 29.7 from Milk still. I don't have perfect memory, but I believe at this point I was running closer to 29.9s or 30s. It's a 2.8 second gap, so it's still not this huge separation in lap time. But NLS, on that short run strategy, his tires are starting to bleed as Milk sends it around the corner hard. But in 5th gear rather than 4th, it's not nearly as punishing on his good years. Look at that, Milk with a huge slide. I'm not sure if that was because of the ghost car of GS or if Milk made a mistake there, but that is a massive slide into the corner. For sure gonna cost him some time to the leader as we continue to race on. one car on pit lane. Whether that was a scheduled pit stop or an accidental entrance onto pit road, I am not sure. 3.4, 3.5 seconds to the leader almost. Now coming back down to 3.3, 3.2. NLS continues to find a way to pull away as Milk can't quite dial in the perfect lines he needs to start running down the 12 machine. Milk flashes to his tire screen again, but I wasn't paying enough attention to figure out exactly when he's coming to pit. I'm sure everyone watching this can...
No. If you do that, you're
I'm
banned.
sure everyone watching this can pause if they really want to see when they're going to pit. But we are on 3 times tire wear on a 50% race. Coming to lap 22. And NLS is still leading strong. Milk, however, still setting very consistent lap times and slowly starting to reel in the leader. Under 3 seconds back now. 16, gaining time as this run continues to go on. The driver's expected to stop close to the halfway mark of the stage. Maybe a little bit later if they're afraid of a caution being called. Milk jumping out of the throttle there to get down to the less banked first lane. Going to compromise his exit a little bit, but still gaining heavily on the 12. NLS's tires appear to have run out. This is where the 16 will make up all of his ground, if his strategy is to work. The current running order, NLS, Milk, then I believe it was Penske. I did not see who was after that. I believe we also have one retiree from this race, who I believe was Twitch. I believe Twitch in the 10 machine was the first to retire. He is done for the day.
Wait, are pit penalties on?
The driver's now talking about coming to pit road as they hit lap 25 of the race.
Last night I had an abysmal day on pit road in the Valvoline Cup Series. GS would know about
And the
that.
driver's now discussing how they enter pit road. I know in Valvoline it's a little bit different, but here in the Jockey Racing League,
I can make
we
it
do
to the
not
end of
worry
the race
about
on
pit
fuel.
speeding penalties.
I'm kidding around.
For whatever reason, I honestly can't remember what the reasoning was, but just look at how much closer Milk is to the front as NLS hits pit road. The 12 machine hits pit road just before the halfway mark. Milk leads a lap. Not that that gets any bonus points in this league, unfortunately. But Milk, now your leader, as the 12 machine is on pit lane.
It feels pretty good because Denny Hamlin is a good driver.
Milk's tire warning is on. His tires are certainly taking some abuse too, but he's been able to control it better than the 12 machine as he stays out again. Where does the 12 exit on track when the 16 comes into pit? And look at those lap times. That is a 29.9. Remember how good NLS's short run car was after taking off on that restart. Is staying out long going to hurt Milk if a caution does not come out.
Almost out of gas.
Milk running it out of gas around a 30 lap window,
Yes,
just
I
less
am.
than. He's going to take it at least one more time around. Only 2 laps of fuel left for the 16 machine. A 29.8 is certainly not bad. It'll be interesting to compare what NLS is running on this stint.
Now I have like a 5-lap tire advantage on NLS the rest of the stage.
And there you have it. It's Milk's plan to wait out the tire deficit, to hope the stage runs all the way to the end under green, and take his long run car with newer tires on it than NLS. He might try to compromise NLS's short run by having the 12 car's tires already be worn. So he goes and makes whatever adjustments he feels like he needs to make.
He will. He's gonna be strong.
The question now is, where does the 16 come out in relation to the 12?
He's gonna have like a 6 seconds in.
Milk there, predicting a 6-second lead for the 12 car when he exits pit lane. That short run speed is certainly no joke. However, with this now tire advantage for Milk, it's very possible that he can run down the 12 of NLS, who you saw right there already in turn number 2 as Milk exits pit lane. 4.3, 4.5. It's only going to be a 4-second gap. Make that 4.5.
4.6 seconds and pressure tires on him by 5 laps. And he's running extremely hard because he ran the fastest lap of the race. NLS doesn't run perfect the rest of the stage, and I feel like I can touch it.
NLS just less than 5 seconds ahead of Milk, running hard with the fastest lap of the race. That point seemingly secured.
Yeah, and now at the end of this run, I'll have even more tires than I did
With the
last
setup that NLS has equipped today, it seems like that fastest lap point will probably go to him. However, can he finish this stage strong with his tire fall off? He pitted 1 lap before a true halfway pit stop would be. Pitted exactly at halfway, but he has to run that 1 extra lap to finish the stage. That's a 29-1 from Milk. We can only assume that NLS, based on my memory,
Your
is
payment?
running high 28s,
Free
possibly
Cup Series
struggling with
105.
low 29s out the gate. I honestly might have messed up those couple of outlaps. That sounds right, but I can't remember. The stage ends at the end of lap 51 as soon as the lap on the top left corner ticks over into 52. Milk running the fastest laps he has all day after some slight adjustments. I think I saw 1 tick to the wedge, a couple of tire pressure changes. It's picked up his short run speed just a little bit. At this point, Twitch is still the only retiree from the race, as this field is very spread out. 4.5 seconds to the leader as Milk runs a 29.012. That is his fastest lap he's ever run at this racetrack.
Still there. All right, you're clear.
Now he passes Penske. Penske, I believe, on an altering pit strategy. There's dirt flying up into the corners of somebody else.
GS, you were supposed to wreck at our
GS coming
left.
down the pit lane. A 4.4 second gap now to the leader. No true battles side by side on the track at the moment. Right now, it's all a battle of strategy. Is it going to be the long run or the short run that results in the stage victory? And does this first stage set a precedent for the rest of the race on what these drivers are going to try to do? A 29.093 for Milk, another fantastic lap by the 16 machine.
I have not ran a
NLS
lap
is
lower
not
than
getting
29
away
yet.
as Milk is on these fresher tires. .1 seconds now. The 16 is gaining on the 12 car. This is still on the short run side of things, and it'll only get worse from here for the Penske machine. Now under 4 seconds. You can see NLS on that left-hand side of the screen as Milk pulls it out of 2. Now dead in front of him is the Penske car of the 12 of NLS. Coming onto the front straightaway, the gap's now 3.7 as we start lap number 37. Milk has been on an absolute tear on this run so far. You can only wonder if his tires are getting a little bit too used up for him to have the same late run speed, but at the rate he's catching the 12 machine, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't make a very good attempt for the stage win. 3.7 now, we are shaping up to have a very exciting battle as we enter the last 13 laps of the stage. not much to report on anywhere else in the field at the moment, although it looks like we might have one more retiree at this point in the race if that's not a car making a pit stop. On the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, I will report on that in a moment if that is the case. It appears that at this point, GS has decided to hang it up for the day. GS will be credited with a 6th place finishing position. He's already pretty high up in the point standings, so a 6th place might not hurt him too badly. But he is done for the day here in Loudon, not happy with how his car was driving. On lap number 41 now out of 50, 10 to go in stage number 1, and the gap for the lead is closing all the time. You can see NLS now in the picture all the way around the racetrack, no longer popping out of the left side in the corners. 2.8 seconds. Milk has drawn it within 3. All the way up to the top side of the racetrack now. He'll get a good run on exit, but not exactly the corner Milk wanted to run. Both NLS and Milk needing to drive the rest of this stage perfect in order to get that stage win. It'll be whoever has the least amount of mistakes will get this win at this point. And Milk, very sideways off the corner, into the attenuator. He loses a massive amount of time. The lead now back over 4 seconds, getting closer to 4.5. Lap 43 out of 50. With only 7 to go, that might be the stage right there. Be listening to Milk's radio, if he has anything to say.
Well, yeah, I did actually. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
And there it is, the conversation that I do remember happening between me and Milk, where I absolutely, out of the blue, noticed that he was no longer about to take the stage win from me. A valiant effort by Milk will come up a little bit short unless something out of the blue happens by NLS. In the meantime, we finally have a battle for third. It is Speed and Penske going at it for the third position. If you look on the dots, the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, down the front straightaway into turn 1 now.
It's just short track racing.
It is Speed and Penske battling hard for that final stage point.
Speed, fight hard for that. Speed, you better fight hard for that.
Milk right there talking to Speed as these laps wind down. He still hasn't flipped over to the gap screen, so I can't tell exactly who's in front at the moment. Milk's still gaining on NLS, but at this point it seems to be a little too late as we are about to start lap number 47 out of 50. NLS crosses the stripe, 4 to go left in the stage. One car seems to be parked up in that turn 1 corner, maybe running in front of Milk now, ghosted down to the inside. That would be Sean, who ungoes right in front of Milk. Scary situation there as Sean once again self-spins in the back for no incident with him being not in the top 3. It's now lap 48, 3 laps to go before stage points are awarded. Milk certainly catching the 12 machine, but it really seems like it's going to be the battle for third as someone goes on to pit road.
What do you mean the no life? I am not a no life, I barely play this game.
I'm not sure who went on to pit road. It very well could have been Sean.
Saying, I'm only on this game because I have to.
Milk defending himself against some sort of comment. I can't remember what it is. But
just
2
wanna
laps to go
win.
now. 2.2 seconds. Milk has drawn it back.
I need to redeem myself from Auto Club. I need to redeem myself from last night.
And I believe the battle for third has been decided. I was not
comes the
watching
time,
that
so
bottom screen for long enough to see who fell where.
So if I didn't
But it
choke,
looks
I
like
had the
speed
stage
is
win.
here. A lap down
been
now
good.
to NLS,
Would've
coming to
been
the
nice.
final lap of the stage. I believe Penske is also a lap down behind speed. I'll get confirmation on that once the
Stage win
stage
would've been
ends.
I would have had the stage win if I didn't choke. And I just choked
Milk
choked
certainly
again.
frustrated with his first stage performance, but it's going to be
Doesn't
NLS in
matter,
the
I
12
wasn't
machine,
gonna
who actually
I
goes
would've-
up and hits the wall, loses a lot of time. It's going to be within 1.5, but it's not going
I
to be
would've
enough,
gotten it if I
unfortunately, as
didn't
Milk
choke.
slides out of the corner. It'll be NLS with the stage win, Milk P2, and it'll be Speed in the third position, a lap down. Milk and NLS lap the rest of the field here in the first stage.
NLS, I'm going up. NLS, I'm going up to your window net. Good battle. Good battle.
All right, you're clear.
A
Car
very
outside.
solid
Hold your
battle
line.
between
My
the
strategy
front
worked.
two.
My strategy worked. I just
Clean
messed up.
strategy racing in the first half of the New Hampshire race. As all the lap cars now unlap themselves before we start pit stops. There goes Sean getting his lap back. There goes Penske as well. The final stage results, scoring points, NLS, Milk, and Speed. Finishing P4 is Penske. P5 is Sean as Milk decides to burn out before pit stops, because why not?
do my
GS
burnout.
and Twitch, both DNF, finishing 6th and 7th respectively, which will also be their final race positions. And then we have
did a cool roll
Tegan
with
and
burnout. I'm
Valvac,
skipping
who
that.
used drop races today, credited with the 8th and 9th place finishing positions for this race.
Dude, my tires, my lowest one of my lowest is at
Milk
4.
Milk did a very good job saving his tires on that run with his long run pit strategy. Because now we are ready to determine
Outside. You're
I mean,
all
my
clear.
lowest was probably at like 30, but I just did a burnout.
the top
so.
5 of this race. 6th and 7th already decided by DNFs, but we have 5 positions still to decide in the final
pit crew.
50 laps. Milk making some more adjustments to his car, seemingly bumping everything up tire pressure wise. Going for a 4-tire change as expected. Sean, I believe, is getting another lap back. He might have been 2 down.
Oh, I got a
15.6 pit stop for the Milk machine.
So we're just all even.
And I believe it's a 15.6 actually across the board between the top 3 drivers. It'll be NLS out first, Milk out second, and Speed out third. I'm not sure exactly what happened with Penske, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know if he hit at the very end of the stage or what exactly happened, because I
That's a
can't
line.
imagine he didn't pit. As we come to the choose cone this time, it'll be NLS inside, Milk inside.
I took the chicane.
Penske had already chosen inside, even though he's restarting towards the back. I was wrong about that, sorry. Because he was towards the back, he chose the outside. Sean's on the outside, and Speed is on the inside. Coming to the restart on lap 53 out of 100.
Hold your line. Got one inside. Clear low.
Penske, what are you doing?
Into the restart zone, we are green. NLS with a good restart. Milk had a good run on that inside after laying back, but it's going to be NLS who's on the apron, and he accidentally shifts into 3rd gear. We're getting reports because I remember that
Yo,
moment
I'll
now.
take that. Yo,
NLS
I'll take
shifting
that.
into 3rd gear. So used to the repetition of shifting into 4th on corner. On the restart, he shifted into 3rd and has lost all of his track position, putting the Milk machine out front for the first time today. That short run car needs to get through this field quickly, because once the long run hits, it's expected that Milk will pull away. Penske knows this. He's diving it in deep on corner exit. Can't get it to stick. It's going to be Milk pulling away out of turn number 2. With high draft, Penske's not going to go away though. He's going to send it in deep. but with no contact. As you see NLS and Speed getting into it in the back. NLS desperate to make a move, sends it in too hard. There's a collision in the back between those two drivers, both losing precious ground. Penske keeping it clean up front. The 5 machine not able to get a run off of corner exit, but is able to stay just close enough to get a draft down the back straightaway for a possible deep dive into turn number 3. It's NLS up into P3 now, not the cleanest of passes. Certainly Speed is not happy at the moment. 28.988. As we have a double too deep into the corner moment from Penske and NLS.
Pay him back, Penske. Pay him back.
I honestly did not see from that angle if I sent it in too deep there, or if we both sent it in too deep and I hit him after. I honestly cannot remember that point in the race. I probably hit him on entry, so that's my bad. But Milk running absolutely the fastest he has all race, as NLS and Penske continue to scrap on behind the 16 machine. 12 car knows that if he cannot get to Milk now, it's very unlikely he'll get to Milk at all. A good corner out of the 12 there, but he's going to get a little bit high on exit. He's into the wall off of exit.
Nice wall, NLS.
That cost them some valuable time in track position. NLS, Penske, and Speed all battling back. Speed actually well off the pace now. I believe that was deemed as an incident, so one more may be a caution unless I'm misremembering that. But oh, I apologize. That's Sean well off the pace, with Speed a little ways back. But it's NLS and Penske battling for P2 still. Milk with his adjustments setting some blistering laps now.
Oh, balls. I have to redeem myself from Valvoline Cup Series.
Milk looking for his first Jockey Racing League win. Got sent up the track at Auto Club in his first race, which provided NLS leeway to sneak under and win. Now it's Milk trying to run away from NLS and wait for his long-run car to kick in.
I'm just managing the gap, as the old ones say.
Look at the ground the 12 makes up, though, in this corner. Turn 1 and 2 there, very strong for the 12 machine.
Bet. I'm within Dylan distance.
Within Dylan distance.
But I am. So if I'm within Dylan distance, if you're within my Dylan distance, then you're dead.
Within Dylan distance, not a term we like to hear our drivers talk about, but NLS is closing in on the leader now.
That's respectable.
He certainly
Dylan
was ruthless with his passes against Speed and Penske.
Watch me do it from. Watch me. I'm middle of the back.
An action's probably deeming of a warning, but none was given in this race. We weren't as strict about penalties as we feel like we need to be now. We have certainly learned from this race and the disaster class that was the Roval, which hopefully no one will ever have to watch again.
Better on foot. You gotta ask him and pull away.
Now it's NLS with a good corner exit. He is closing it in right on the bumper of the 16 machine.
But then you have an enemy for the late race.
And now a terrible moment of Heat 5 lag as NLS enters the corner behind Milk. Impossible to tell exactly what the 12 is doing.
I had to let off the gas.
It seems like the 12 is giving space to the 16, trying to size up a pass here. NLS peeking to the inside, not going to get quite the run he needs on corner exit, but he will have draft down the back straightaway as now Penske and Speed have fallen back. There goes NLS. That's a hard send into Milk.
Oh, what a
Milk
bump.
is able to keep it under control, not going all the way up the racetrack, and NLS completes the hard bump and run. And there's Milk sending a dive bomb into turn 1. NLS tries to cross him over, gets into the 16, now onto the apron, now into the 16, 16 into the wall. NLS backing off. Felt like that move was over-aggressive. He's going to give Milk back the space he feels he deserves. Now both playing chicken on the throttle, trying not to hit the wall as the 12 will now clear. These two getting pushy for the lead as now Milk sends a deep dive bomb into the 12. Well-deserved move. The 16 completes the pass. All hard racing, no one wrecking anybody else, but there's certainly a lot of contact. The way good old short track racing ought to be. The 12 now with the bump and run on the 16. Again, no wreck.
I want my
No
lobster.
overly amount of time lost due to the contact. This is all legal racing in the Jockey Racing League. A good soft bump from the 16, and now the 12 goes into the wall after contact with the 16. Milk will return the favor of slowing down on the front straightaway a little bit before Penske pokes his nose under, looking for the lead himself. The 12 and the 16 certainly seem to have good respectful racing going on, as the 16 repays the favor that the 12 gave him earlier, and now the 12 back with the 5, and they have been racing quite a bit harder. NLS gets in too deep again, contact, the 5 is into the wall. The 12 making enemies out on the racetrack right now. Certainly not clean driving as NLS's desperation is getting the better of him at the moment. The 9 and the 5 surely have the 12 on some sort of hit list for this race.
I actually might be running 3 pit stairs. I don't know.
NLS sends it in very deep, but he makes it stick there on the bottom. And Milk exits very low. That means the 12 may have a run on the top side.
I got completely sideways, had to let off.
NLS backs off, looks low, is not going to get it. Avoids contact with the 16 this time around, washes up the track, looks for exit, gets loose, but the 16 also gets loose and backs out of the throttle. It's going to be the 12 and the 16 dooring into each other down the front straightaway as now Penske sends it in deep, backs out of it. The 12 car now looking, gets onto the apron. The 12 car loses time and he spins. The 12 car of NLS spins out. At this point, 2 incidents have occurred. The caution is out. NLS gambled for too much and spun out on the apron, bringing out the first caution for incident of the day here at Loudon. Milk with a block there to get to the line as we race back to the line here. The 16 in P number 1, the 5 in P2. And it's either the 12 or the 5 in P3. It looks like the 9, sorry, of Speed, who will take P3, NLS going all the way to the back for being the main cause of the caution.
Outside. All clear.
With all of that chaotic racing, we also have to mention that Sean has chose to DNF from this race. This is his last points-paying race in the Jockey Racing League before he moves into a full-time commentating role. Adieu, Sean. You will be missed from the Jockey Racing track. We cannot wait to hear your beautiful voice in the booth when ESMN gets to coverage these races. Or when the NLS cam works. I think he's covering those too. His last race was supposed to be the Charlotte Roval, but after the absolute disaster that race was, and with it so difficult to call a winner between him and the 16 after a final chicane game-breaking incident, Sean will retire with an unofficial win at the Charlotte Roval that does not count with points, going out on top in his final start. A good story for the 47, but unfortunately, the race was too messy to be counted for points. That video does technically exist, by the way, but I'm planning on keeping that one privated, maybe forever. Maybe if this league ever takes off and blows up, gets a huge subscriber count, I'll release it as uncaptured footage or something. I don't know. But we are going to restart this race on lap 72 out of 100. It's Milk on the outside, Penske on the inside. And in row number 2, It looks to be NLS on the outside with Speed on the inside. A
was only
great
going
restart for
75.
the 5 of Penske and for the 9 of Speed.
goodness
They're
gracious.
going to be positions 1 and 2 into the corner. Milk sends it in deep on the high lane. Remember that both the 9 and the 5 are frustrated with how the 12 has raced in this race, but the 16, they've raced clean, so expect a lot more forgiveness from the Milk Cam. NLS dives it in deep and into the wall. An unsuccessful slide job for the 12, trying to pass the 9 machine of Speed as we've got a tight battle for the lead. Penske trying to give some side draft to Milk into turn number 1. Milk is gonna shoot very high into the corner but keep it under control. The 5 car rolls the top, is not able to get a big run off. Milk now into 3. It's Speed who got sent by the 12, I believe. Yes, that is what happened. The 9 sent hard by the 12 car into the corner. The 12 backs off, and the 9 and the 5 race for the second position. Come to think of it, I did not drive this part of this race very well. Oops. And now it's the 12, hitting the 5 into the 9, both up the track. All 3 of them are in a cluster, a second back, and there's a wreck in the back. That's going to be a caution. I believe there was a wreck in the back. I could have misseen that. It's the 16 and the 9 in positions 1 and 2. No, all 3 of them still back there. No caution is out. I jumped the gun on that call. They all managed to keep it going straight, but all 3 of them now getting into each other.
Oh, what? No, why did you call the caution?
Now there's an incident, and now the caution is out as they
This is exactly what I
continue to
wanted to
run
see.
into each other. Things are getting messy. 12 car certainly doing himself no favors in short track etiquette tonight. We all know he has the speed to be out front, but clearly he's been over aggressive in trying to pass cars here.
I'll get it back. I'll get it
Drivers are opting to come to pit road this time around.
Driver.
back. I gave some time back because I was. I gave some time back because I thought I was a little ahead, so I gave some time back.
So now they head down pit road. This is as good of time as any to inform you that due to the aggressive standards of this race, we have since put out some new rules and some new officiating judgments to be more strict when it comes to this type of racing.
You're almost a second better
At
than
the
my
time, this racing did not
I'm getting
warrant warnings directed to any specific driver. It did not
I'm
issue
getting,
any
like,
probations, any
I got
penalties.
third.
At the
I got
moment
third.
of this race,
I got
with
a
2
16
officials in
and
this
1.
race, Speed and
That is
NLS,
horrendous. If I lose, it's my pit crew's
these
fault.
driving
I actually
standards
had that
were
in control.
considered
I had that
acceptable.
in control. First to
After
third,
this
third,
race,
that was actually so stupid.
These driving standards will hopefully no longer be considered acceptable.
Penske, go
There
high.
will be
I
more
want you to go
warnings. There will be more probation, possibly. There will be more officiating to keep the racing cleaner for both our mental sakes and for your viewing pleasure. But as of this race, these are the standards that are being set in the moment as we get ready to go green on lap 77 out of 100. Closing in on the final 20 laps. Single file into the corner, the 12 getting into the 16 just a little bit, the 16 loose, but is side by side with the 5 as Penske up into the
Penske,
wall.
No, don't hit the wall. Don't hit the wall. You good?
Incidental contact as Speed will now try the inside, hard into the 16 as Speed tries to
Oh my
clear away
goodness.
under. He's gonna get to the quarter panel of the 16, Up the track they go, out of the wall they stay. It's the 16, the 5, the 9, and the 12 in that order.
Actually, just
Now it's NLS. Following the 9 through as the 9 makes contact with the back of the 5 machine. It's NLS and Penske side by side. Speed also back there blocking. And now Speed, Penske, all up into the wall. The 12 up the track as well. Overshooting the corner due to contact in the back there. The racing between these three has certainly gotten ridiculous by this point.
thank you.
Milk now largely clear for the lead. Coming to 20 laps to go. New Hampshire with high draft is certainly an animal of its own. High draft is likely not to return to any track with significant braking following this race and the Charlotte Roval disaster, due to the nature of drivers not knowing how to adjust their brake points accurately. Expect this to be the last short track with a high draft package. Milk running some seriously fast lap times right now, as it appears that the 12 car of NLS has made his way into the second position, but it's still a dogfight back there. And at this point, I guess it's not. NLS has actually pulled out a second ahead of the other two in that group, without a doubt due to some over-aggressive contact.
Hey,
I would
have
absolutely
I have
imagine
Vegas.
that the way this order shuffled out. Oh, and we've got another wreck in the back. A car turned. It's actually two cars. It's Penske and Speed who got into each other. An incident between the back two has brought out another
Kidding
yellow.
me, guys? Like, dang it.
This may be the first yellow that's not directly the 12 car's fault, as the 9 and the 5 get into each other down the front straightaway. And again, out of turn 2, it appears. But
NLS, can you screen record? NLS, can you screen record a video? But like, if I send you my Twitch, could you like screen record?
oh, sorry. At this point, we were
that I'm
talking about how we were gonna get this footage to me.
Because I have the like I can download the video, but I can't like send it to you. I don't think.
But it is the 16 and the 12 running 1 and 2 right now on
And I might
track.
be able to like email it to you.
After a wreck between the 5 and the 9 machines. As we roll around the
No,
track
I can,
to
but
15
like,
to go.
I can't send it through Discord.
Pits are open this time around if any drivers want to take.
Yeah, okay, that's good. I can do that. If you don't pit, you're gonna have terrible tires the rest of the race.
It seems that everyone has dove onto pit road. This will absolutely be a short run setup with only 15, and when we start the race, 14 laps to go. During this pit cycle, let's talk about the future of Jockey League racing. Once NASCAR 25 hits the shelves, it will be an immediate transition from Heat 5 to NASCAR 25. That's right, Jockey will make the transition launch day.
Wait, 14.9?
As Milk gets a
14.9?
14.9 pit stop, an incredible stop from the leader.
14.9?
Fastest I've ever seen.
14.9?
But let me reiterate,
What?
as of launch day of NASCAR 25, Jockey will be making the immediate transition. I believe that we will be done with whatever
14.9.
season we do by that launch day,
That's the pit crew that I hired.
regardless. But expect racing from NASCAR 25 very, very soon after that game's release. We are all very excited for NASCAR 25, especially with news breaking today that the Xfinity and Cup cars seem to be racing differently based on reports. Always good to hear that this NASCAR game is being taken seriously.
I got you.
as now Milk will lead us into the restart zone.
Farther on the inside.
NLS appeared to try to jump it early, had to back off and loses a significant amount of time starting on that inside lane.
My home track. Oh,
The 12 car brakes significantly early. There may have been contact from the 9. Now the 9 runs the 12 high up the track. All well deserved at this point from how the 12's been racing.
I'm really sorry about that.
But it's not going to help any of them catch the leader. Milk still leads on lap number 87 as they're 3 wide once again on the back. As Milk runs away, we try to look back at the action behind him. Milk's occasional flash into the back are very helpful. We're still 3 abreast down the back straightaway. Into the corner.
My home
It's
track is
Penske
Iowa.
who comes out with the lead after NLS had it into the corner. As it looks like they're finally starting to single file out as Milk, once again running super low 29s.
My home track is closest to Iowa.
At this point, ESMN had joined the call to provide some additional commentating. He was talking about how many drivers had won at their home track.
Oh, I would whoop some butt at Richmond. I would whoop some butt at Richmond.
It's now Milk with a big lead as he runs a 29.017. We have 11 to go here in New Hampshire. Penske is in that P2 position. But in this second stage, it has been lights out racing from the 16 machine. We cannot imagine anyone trying to catch him now without clearing that 3-car battle. Penske has the best shot to do it right now, but he hasn't quite shown the speed this race of being able to run down the 16 on a longer run. 10 laps to go here from Loudon. It is a 2-second gap for Milk. The 16, absolutely one of the fastest drivers in this series week in and week out since he's shown up. He's trying to get that ever elusive first victory. Someone in the wall back there, I believe. But Penske still holds that second position. NLS in speed, still close behind. Milk putting together some beautiful laps here, pulling away from the field. .29.14 from Milk. His pace not slowing very much. Even when checking behind him at this point, it's hard to see the rest of the drivers on track. With a massive lead, the 16 is certainly on rails at the moment, coming to 7 laps to go. As you see Milk into turn 2 around the same time, the other drivers get into turn 1, and now it's a side-by-side battle between NLS and Penske, 3 seconds back of the leader, exchanging the position down the back straightaway. Into turn 3, it looks like the 12 car is going to hold that position all the way through the corner.
Wait, what? Are
And
you
a caution
actually
is
kidding
called
me?
for an
Are
incident.
you actually kidding me?
This changes everything. Unfortunately, I cannot remember this incident off the top of my head.
Are you kidding me? If I lose this, I'm actually gonna...
Milk, clearly upset that the drivers behind him can't keep it clean long enough for him to pull away.
I got Auto Club stolen from...
I cannot for the life of me remember what this incident was, actually. I honestly don't remember if this was another one that was my fault or if this was the 9 and the 5 getting into each other again. It all became a blur at this point.
Pit road. If you don't pit, you're still gonna get screwed.
Pit road is open now. We are going to come to 3 laps to go in this race.
No. Speed. I feel like you have to pay NLS back in the board right now.
All right, my only vague memory from
To be
this
honest,
race
I think you still
is
have
at
to
this
pay
point,
back.
it might have been either Speed who got into me for the caution. I don't think so though. I just remember that Milk made that comment because I personally had thought that Speed had paid me back for everything that I had done to him this race. And I was trying to talk him out of wrecking me anymore with only 3 laps to go. That's all I remember from that incident. I wish I had more for you. The NLS cam would have been a great one for this race, but unfortunately we have no NLS cam for this one.
Got one inside. Got one up top.
We get ready for the choose code. Now's a good time to remind you all about Jockey's overtime policy if we get to that point. No more than 3 attempts for overtime shall be attempted in Jockey. If a caution comes out during the final stint, you race back to the line for the final lap. Even if a caution comes out during 2 laps to go, on that final attempt, you will race to the checkered flag distance. So it'll be a 2-lap sprint no matter what if we get to that point. Hopefully that isn't the case, as the drivers work their way around 3 and 4. It's NLS on the inside, Milk on the outside, row number 2, it's Speed on the outside with Pinsky on the inside. Have these drivers forgiven each other for all this aggressive racing? We will see Milk with a huge jump as the green's in the air. It's Speed who will get clear of the 12 machine going into turn number 1. It's hard on the brakes for everybody, as they're 3 wide once again behind Milk. NLS in that 2nd position now. I couldn't see exactly, but that one appeared to be a cleaner pass than he had been making.
Wait, what's the checkered? 102 is the checkered?
We're now on lap 97.
Yeah, when I see 102.
4 to go.
98 now, 98.
The in-game ticker says 98. That means we're on lap 97 out of 100.
We're on 98 now.
NLS has a great short-run car, but is it enough to make up a 2nd deficit, coming to only 3 laps to go? Between that and having to fend off from 3 hungry drivers behind him, this finish could get dramatic. 3 to go now. Just less than a 2nd back for the NLS machine. Off of 2, the gap now expected to be pulled up by Milk. It was not, so we have no reading to the gap behind.
How am I getting screwed over 4 times?
And there's another caution now. A car stalled over in turn 2. I wasn't looking close enough at the rearview mirror to see what happened. I believe this one was from more contact between the 9 and the 5 machine. This means we will get Jockey
How
overtime.
do tires matter? Are you gonna like flip or 2 laps?
Milk with every right to be upset here. The 3 drivers behind him have had such a sloppy 2nd half to this race after a perfectly clean
Might as well
1st
flip
half.
for 4, get it out of the way.
It is mainly because of this race and some things seen at the Roval that we are changing our
100.
standards to be
100.
more strict, especially
So
on
it's
these
just
type
2
of
to-
tracks. We have had way too many controversial moves this season.
I'm gonna need like when the checkered is for myself.
Inside. All right, you're clear. Car down the inside.
We're gonna restart on 102. We're gonna get back going.
Hits
on
are
102.
open. Once again,
And then-
if any drivers want to take tires,
So when you see 104, it should be over. 104 is over.
as you can now ignore the 101.
Yeah, 104
You
is-
can now ignore the ticker on the top left of the screen. Once we go green, it's just a NASCAR overtime.
There's your short run.
The only difference,
Destroyed.
if we get to the 3rd overtime attempt, any wreck ends the race. Here's hoping that we didn't get that far. I honestly cannot remember how many overtimes we had. This might be it. This might not be it. I don't know.
There's only 4 of us. If you take 4,
It's
you
a
have the best advantage.
15-6 pit stop for Milk. We'll have to see where everybody else comes out onto the track.
I'm taking 4. There's only 4 of us.
And actually, it's NLS who decides to stay out for this restart, taking the front row restart deciding position rather than taking tires. The reasoning? My restarts had been garbage this race. I felt like my only shot to win was to be the control car. But now it's the rest of the field on fresh tires. The 5 and the 9 still have to have some sort of resentment for the 12 and how the second half of this race is going. Milk.
If I don't win this,
Milk,
really
upset that we've been racing this sloppily in the second half, but we're green for jockey overtime. A big jump for the 12 car, pushed by the 9. Into turn 1 now. Speed checks up to avoid running into the back of the 12. The 5 with a massive sin down low, and that's going to be Milk hard into the outside wall. Now spitting out. That's going to be another caution.
I just wrecked.
Penske also around. What a disastrous first attempt at an overtime. It'll be NLS getting back to the line first. Speed second. It'll be Penske and Milk who ultimately pay the price here and go to the back. We are now on to attempt number 2.
Penske's pitting. I'm not pitting. Just go, choose this time and go.
That incident.
We have to wait for him.
More flukish and less intentionally seeming than some of the other ones this race. As soon as Speed hit the brakes early to give NLS room, and Penske shot underneath him, hitting Milk, all chaos broke loose as Milk ended up in the outside wall, and Penske was around later on the back straightaway. They are choosing this time around. There will be no pit stops. It's NLS on the inside, Milk on the outside, as has been the case for so much of today. As we wait for Penske to rejoin the group before we restart.
Still there.
And now everybody is caught up. We will restart this time. Green flag is back in the air. The 12 with another jump. Milk with a much better restart this time, but the 12 still clears. Into turn 1, the 9 backs up the corner again, knocking the 16 up the track. It'll be Milk with the possible run out of the corner, but he gets hit by the 9. Milk around again. 2 restarts in a row now. Milk's been taken out by cars coming up into him from the bottom. That is another caution. And we are now forced to go into the final overtime attempt here in Jockey. No more cautions will come out this race. Whatever happens now will be final.
I pit.
Unfortunately, an amazing strategy race in the first half has turned into an absolute dumpster fire of wreck after wreck after wreck to finish this one off. There's a good reason why we've changed our driving standards since this race. And also a good reason why the Roval will never see the light of day, because those new driving standards were not enforced, to say the least. Pits will be open once again. Everyone taking tires. I remember for a second I thought about staying out, but then figured everybody else was probably coming in. A pit stop could absolutely make or break anyone's race here, as a fast pit stop could put them in a great position to lead the field to the green, while a slow pit stop could cost them any shot of a win. A 15-7 for Milk. I cannot remember what I got on this stop. As now, we wait anxiously to see who peels off pit road first. And it's gonna be Penske in the 5, who makes a huge jump and will take the lead of this race. I think I remember on my screen I beat him out, but I ended up getting overruled because, you know, obviously here, screen lag's crazy. I did not win the race off of pit road, so I'm glad that I was not given that. And it is the 5 car who will take the lead into this restart. He will line up on the outside lane, NLS on his inside. He's had trouble with restarts all day. And can Penske steal a win here in the 11th hour in the final overtime? Next flag ends the race. Green is out. The 12 falls back into the 3rd position as the 5 and the 9 send it into 1. It's a much cleaner turn 1 than the last 2 restarts. The 12 has to come down the track now. He'll get a run on the 5 car of Penske. What'll happen into turn 3? The 12 dives low, hits the brakes, maybe into the 5 car. It looked like no contact from Milk's perspective. But now with contact from the 16, the 12 is clear for the lead, and now the 5 and the 16 side by side into turn 1. Everyone keeping it clean on this final restart. Milk's gonna get the run out of the corner. Speed back to 4th, Penske in 3rd. NLS pulling away down the back straightaway. Final corner. Milk sends it in hard, but it's not enough. We're going to somehow keep it clean to the finish of this one, as NLS will grab a win due to an exceptional amount of restarts. NLS steals a win away from the 16 machine. Unfortunately, that is where the milk cam ends. After that, he stops recording. So we will keep this freeze frame of the end of the race on as we go over the finishing results. The finishing results from Loudon. It's NLS with the fastest lap of the race and the stage win, winning at Loudon. It's Milk in P2, Penske 3rd, Speed 4th, and as mentioned before, Sean GS Twitch. Finishing out the in-race results with Tegan and Balvac. Finishing out with drop races. Since we're here, and I have the updated points in front of me, I'll go over them now as we are halfway through the Jockey regular season. It's NLS as your points leader with 84, who is above Speed, who is in 2nd with 59 by over 20 points. That is almost an entire race. It actually might be an entire race worth of points that NLS has put up on his closest competitor, Speed. GS and Penske are tied for the 3rd and 4th spot, but as of this moment, Penske has left the server due to the shenanigans that happened at the Charlotte Roval. It was a whole mess, but Penske's currently not in the server, which would actually make him ineligible for that playoff spot. So reading without Penske in here, it would be Carson and Milk as your final drivers in at 36 and 33 points respectively. Valvac is the first one out at 31 points, only 2 down from the cut line. Sean also at 31, but he has announced his retirement from racing, so do not expect him to move up at all. We have Twitch with 22 points, who still has a realistic shot to get in, and we have Tegan with 4. Then we have Dark Pumps, Jaywood, Ally, Asher, all sitting with negligible points, but they have not raced this season. If they start racing, they very well might get the points they need. This is all we have to you from today from a race that existed at New Hampshire. It had promising beginnings, it had sloppy endings. At the very least, the final restart was mostly clean. That is all we have for you today from the Jockey Racing League. This has been NLS, commentating over a race that happened a week and a half ago, and I hope you all have a good night.